What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sports Rants with Abby's and Friends. We don't got Dayo today, but we got Gene, we got Guy, we got me. How are you guys doing? Sorry I missed you guys last week. How are you guys doing? Guy, I know the schedules came out, so what do you feel? How do you feel about Miami?
I think we're going to be around 500, but I have the two Jets games circled on the calendar, though.
As what? Wins or losses?
I think we're going to be splitting this year.
Abby, you should have seen this guy last week. He as much Mets gear as he's rocking right now as the Dolphins gear last week, and I think it was a personal shot at you.
I know. I did see it last week. I told you I watched the episode last week, and I was like, geez, you got all decked out. And I'm like, I feel bad that I missed it. You know what I mean? I have no Jets like anything on today. Gene, you usually do. So I was like, you could help me out a little bit.
I'm sorry, man. Yeah, it's right now. It's like Jets who. It's all about the Knicks right now. So,
well, Gene, how do you feel about real quick the Jets schedule? What are you thinking?
You know what? I haven't really completely digested it yet, but it could be worse. I felt last year's was tougher. And forget about the mathematical stuff where they say, strength of schedule and based on forget about that. Just looking at it from by team by team, by week by week by week, as just not thinking about winning percentages from the following year or the year before. It seems like a more doable schedule than last year's. I feel that was one of the things that hurt us last year. I feel like the schedule this year is maybe I wouldn't say easy because no games are easy, right? Especially for the Jets when you're a Jet fan. I remember losing to 0-10 teams when at times. So Colts and Cardinals and losing to them when we weren't great, but the Cardinals were like 0-9 and we lost to them. I think we were their only win that year, and the Colts that happened one time back before Peyton Manning and they sucked. But yeah, so like there's no easy weeks, but this schedule to me, I think is probably looking at it on paper, the easiest schedule I've seen in a few years. I feel like the last few years, even though we weren't great, we still had tough schedules. And this one I feel like is more manageable.
Right. No, and I'm right there with you. Like the first half is going to be tough. After the bye week, it gets a little bit easier, but not so easy where I'm thinking we're getting 11, 12 wins. Like some of these comments I've been seeing, it's literally crazy. I'm like, we haven't had a winning season since 2015. What makes you think we're going to get into double-digit wins this year? I'm not saying it's not possible. Mm-hmm. Anything is possible. They could sneak out a few more wins than I think, but it's just highly unlikely. We got brand new everything coming in here. Like, I'd rather just really manage my expectations and set them pretty low for the most part. So, anyways, but we got more exciting news to talk about. Obviously, we got the conference finals going on. Let's talk a little bit. We got one going on right now. Got the Knicks and the Pacers right now. We'll get into that a little. But how did you guys feel about game one yesterday? Obviously, OKC coming out with the dub. How you guys feeling? Do you think the Timberwolves should be worried? We got a little Anthony. You got a lot of Anthony Edwards talk going on right now. How you guys feeling?
I personally think that the Wolves came out strong in the beginning. They gave a good punch in the mouth, and SGA and those Thunder just went, okay, hold my beer, and they just basically just ran roughshod over them from that point forward. To the point where what were they down 10 at one point? They win by and they were up by like 18 at another point. The Wolves gave them that shot, and it didn't even phase them. The Thunder were just toying around in the beginning. They were just kind of getting their feet wet. And the minute it became like serious is when they turned it on. And I just don't think they look back. I think maybe Minnesota gets one win like in game 4 just because they're home and they get a win. But this isn't going to be a series. I just don't see it. They're just mismatched.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you too. I mean, the first half was great. It was close. And it's like I don't even know what happened in the second half. And honestly, OKC's defense was really good yesterday. You know what I mean? Oh, hi, Wu-Tang. OKC's defense was really good yesterday. They were able to create a bunch of turnovers. And I think I read a stat that they shot, I think the Timberwolves shot like 50 threes or something like that. I don't know what stat that was, but it was mismatched. And Anthony Edwards in the fourth quarter was absolutely, where was he? And he said, I know he went out a little bit with that ankle injury. He says it's not bothering him. Well, The fourth quarter didn't look like that at all. I know he was sitting some of the time as well to give him a little bit of a break. But Guy, what was your feelings on game one yesterday?
I think, like Gene said, like they initially came out the gates hot. Randall looked pretty good in the first half. He, to me, played the best out of the Timberwolves. But Anthony Edwards only having, I think, like 18 points on 13 shots, it's not going to cut it. If he's who everybody says he is, like the next one, the superstar, comparing him to Michael Jordan, as crazy as that sounds, you got to show up in the fourth quarter. And you know what? God bless Caruso, because he's playing crazy, insane defense, and he was locking him down. So now Anthony Edwards has to go back into the drawing board and make his adjustments, as do the Timberwolves as a whole. I thought they played a little sloppy in the second half, but that's due to the pace and defense of OKC.
Yeah, we talked about it kind of in the last couple episodes. OKC is just a young team, and you're gonna have to play them all four quarters equally as hard. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with both of you there. I just don't really see it at this point being an exciting series. I think they're going to be able to make the adjustments, not the adjustments to win the entire series, though, in my opinion. Go ahead, Gene.
I was going to say, Randall and Edwards, they'll have their moments, but like it's not going to enough to I don't think to win. Like I said, maybe they win a game. And again, they'll make some superstar plays because they are superstars, right? But it's not going to be enough to maintain, a winning score after 48 minutes. It's just not.
And as much as like a superstar that everyone says that Ant is, he sure as hell didn't play like one yesterday. And he's just, to me, a little inconsistent, if I'm being honest. You know what I mean? Love him. You know what I mean?
I gotta be honest. Is he a superstar? Yes, he's fantastic. But like everyone's trying to put him on this mantle of being the guy for when LeBron leaves to take over. I don't think he's the guy, man. I really don't. And that's not because he's not that good. But there was a way that Jordan handled himself on and off the court. There's a way that LeBron handles himself on and off the court. And I don't think Anthony Edwards is that guy. On or off the court. Like he's great on the court, but his game does lack a little bit here and there. And off the court, to be honest, I think he's a jerk. And it's fine, and that's 100% fine. Be a jerk, right? Like, if with the victory was the spoils, you want to be a clown walking the streets of LA, talking ish to the rest of the people that are there watching you. If you just beat the Lakers, hey, that's fine. You earned that, right? But LeBron would never do that. Michael would never do that. Magic before Michael would never do that. I mean, so this lineage of great players and faces of the league, they weren't that didn't happen. And when someone could say, hey, you know what, you're being too old fashioned, get off my lawn, guy. It doesn't need to be like that. They could be I just think, to me, it does. Do you know what I mean? Like Kobe wouldn't do that kind of thing. Like I need to see the face of the league have that carry on that same legacy as those previous guys did.
Right. Guy, what are you thinking? Like, I mean, this is a topic that's been floating around recently. If he wins a championship, is he going to be the face of the league? What are your thoughts on him?
I mean, I know the big machines want that, but to Gene's point, I don't think he has the mental capacity yet or the maturity yet.
Perfect word.
To take on that great responsibility, because you could be a great player, but to be the face of the league, a generational talent that draws people in. I mean, he does that, but to do that consistently, all those names that Gene mentioned, they were consistently excellent. Night in, night out, they brought it. They worked on their game, and you know what? You could always count on them, to just bring it, and that's what they do. Anthony Edwards, to me, can't be the face of the league, but I know that the NBA wants an American guy to be that. Now that we have an influx of international talent, maybe there could be a different face of the league, but maybe language barriers and like culturally, it's not going to really hit here. But basketball is a global game, man. And I actually think Wemby's going to be the face of the league. He might not be that yet because he's still a kid, but he'll grow into that because he has that kind of like Kobe, Michael Jordan kind of like mentality that you need to be the face of the league.
I don't appreciate having to say this, and I don't want to have to say this, and I don't like the fact that it's coming out of my mouth because it feels like acid. But I kind of think the league wants it to be Tatum.
Oh,
I agree. Agree.
Here's what I'm going to say about that, because Guy pointed out a good point that I was going to make. I just think when you think of the NBA, it's like a household name: Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. Ant doesn't fall in that same category to me. And quite frankly, I don't even think he wants to be the face of the league. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I get what he does on the court. He's got a lot of offside, off-court drama. All right. I was refreshing my memory because even my coworker, she doesn't watch no sports. And she's like, how do I know this, man? I'm like, you probably read the text in between his baby mamas that got exposed. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But my whole point is like, I feel like there are so many other people who I would name before him who I feel like are better suited for that role. Wemby is one of them. You know what I mean? I would even say Tatum as well. You know what I mean? I would even throw Luka. I don't really like Luka that much because like the Mavs and the Suns and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But he's a great player. I think Luka could be thrown in that category as well. And obviously the NBA is trying to make more of an international population. They're trying to bring a lot more international fans. I just feel like that you got to find someone who's probably better marketed than Ant-Man. It's really hard to like advocate for him because, like I said, he just sometimes has that attitude, which I like, you know what I mean? But it doesn't rub well with everybody. Oh, look at Brent already teasing me about the Mavs. We always go back and forth about it, but anyways, that's like my personal opinion. He's just not on the same level as to like these other like Jordan, LeBron, Kobe. It's like they're just well above him. You know what I mean? Even SGA could be thrown in that conversation as well. Obviously, winning MVP earlier today, like we saw. Again, Cooper Flagg's been thrown in there as well. I hated that Arizona lost to Duke. And I will obviously hate Cooper Flagg, but he's a beast. He's a monster. You know what I mean? No drama.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know if Cooper Flagg is this guy that everyone's saying. I just don't. I'd rather have either one of those kids from Rutgers.
Are you, baby?
I would go there. Now, again, if you pass on Flagg, that's going to get a GM fired, right? Like you can't. It's almost like you're forced to pick him because if you know something that nobody else knows, and you pick him, you're not going to get a chance to see him flourish, right? So like in San Antonio, if Wemby, if there was something he just knew, he's like, Wemby's not the guy. This other guy's going to be better. I got to take this other guy no matter what everybody else thinks and knows. And even if he turned out to be right 3 or 4 years down the road, he'd be gone already because he passed on Wemby. I really do think it's one of those situations.
I mean, I quite frankly disagree. I feel like I watched more like Duke basketball this year. I've seen Cooper Flagg play. I saw him play in the game against Arizona as well. Watched him very like intently. But again, we're all entitled to our opinions. But I think we can all agree we're agreeing that Ant-Man isn't going to be the face of the NBA, even if he wins a championship, even if he doesn't. You know what I mean? So go ahead, Gene.
I just don't think like Guy said before, it was the perfect word. Maturity. He just does not have the maturity for it. I just don't see him being the guy because of a various bunch of reasons. And that's,
So speaking of SGA just a little bit today, you saw the MVP. How do you guys feel? I mean, self-explanatory, me much deserved, but just wanted to get your guys' quick opinions on it.
Is there the only beef you could have is if you were in the Jokic camp? Mm-hmm. Didn't Jokic have a 60-20-20 game this year? I mean, like the only beef you could have is with that. Otherwise, he was the guy. And listen, I'm a guy that chants from the mountaintops that Brunson's the guy. But I'll admit, SGA is the best point guard on the planet right now, and he earned it. He earned it. Now, again, I wouldn't have argued if you would have given it to Jokic because I feel like either one of those guys were deserving. But you know how this league gets. After somebody wins it 2 or 3 times, they start looking to give it to somebody else's. And hey, Tina Marie, how you doing? Stopping in to say hello. But yeah, that's where I think fully deserved. I mean, he that team is such a young team, and to win the amount of games that they won this year, and for him to stay as poised as he was this year, and a great teammate. You see, he bought all his teammate Rolexes. So what a great teammate.
Oh, I love that. I didn't see that. Guy, how do you feel about it?
I love SGA, but I was in the Jokic camp. As a center, I think he averaged a triple-double, which is insane for a season. I think he's the best player in the league. Now, I think they gave SGA the MVP because he was the best player on the best team in the league. And I think wins and losses had more to do with it than actual stats. SGA won the scoring title, I believe. So, that and the Thunder success, I think put him over the top. And like Gene said, like Jokic already won it a few times. They're like, we can't give this guy like 4 or 5 MVPs because now he's going to be in like the GOAT discussion and all this stuff, and they don't want to open up that can of worms. So, we know the true best player in the league is Jokic. He does things that nobody else can do. But, well-deserved to SGA, what I'm saying? Like, if not Jokic, then I think SGA was the guy.
Yeah. Both made like really good points, I think. So switching to the other game we got going on. Gene, what's the score right now? Because I can't have it pulled up.
It just pulled up to commercial. So they don't have, you know what? It's about to go to commercial. It looks like, I think it was just Obi Toppin just scored. Now they're just showing replays. What's that? Oh, it's 80-77 Knicks.
Oh, okay.
And
close.
It's about 4 minutes, 44 seconds left in the third if you are with us and not watching, guys.
You literally picked the worst time to record because, like, I know how bad you just want to dedicate all your attention to this game, I swear.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I'm happy to be here with you guys. And, I haven't gotten to share a screen with Abby and I don't even know how long.
Forever.
It's been for years. So I'm glad to be able to have be able to share a screen with Abby and just talk some football and some basketball and what's going on in sports, man.
Well, I'm not even a Knicks fan, but I can tell you I'm really excited to see this matchup. It's super hard for me because Benedict Mathurin and TJ McConnell both went to Arizona. So I like simultaneously want them to do good. So I really don't know. I don't care who wins because, again, I have no stake. I'm a Suns fan. You know what I mean? But this is going to be just a fun series.
I hate TJ McConnell.
Why?
I don't know.
He doesn't literally do nothing. So unproblematic.
You know what? I don't know why. I just can't stand the man. I don't know what it is. Maybe if he wasn't on the Pacers, I'd probably like him a lot better.
I think because, if I'm correct, he was there when I was at U of A. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I just.
Oh, I get why you like him. I get why you like him.
But
you're Arizona stand up. I get that.
Yeah. But the problem is, though, it was projected to be like nothing. And to see him actually now like gradually make his way up and actually like have like an effect on the games and whatnot. He already hit from my parlay already. I still got 2 more legs to go, but he hit from my parlay already. It's just, I think it's exciting to see. And like I said, Benedict Mathurin as well, obviously one and done at U of A, of course, but well, go ahead, Gene, and talk about your Knicks. How do you feel going into this matchup? What are you thinking? Are you Knicks in 6 type of guy?
All right, so let me say this. I might have touched on it a little bit last week about how superstitious I am with sports. I never prayed to God about sports because I figure he's got bigger stuff to deal with, right? But I am superstitious, and so for that reason, I said in the beginning of the postseason, Pistons in 6. I really didn't think we were going to beat the Pistons. I thought, you know what? They're just going to beat us. They played really well against us during the regular season. They're going to beat us. And we beat them in 6. I said, all right, well, I really don't think we're going to beat the Celtics. But for this case of being superstitious, I'll say Celtics in 6. And we turn around, we beat the Celtics. So now I'm starting to feel myself a little bit thinking we could win these games, but I'm still superstitious. So I'm still saying Pacers in 6. Having said that, I'll see you in the finals next week.
Oh
But Pacers in 6.
I know, Guy. I know you got a kick out of that one.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I know the Knicks have been suffering for a long time. So whatever helps you get them over the hump, bro, I support that. But I think this series is going to be very close. It's going to be a 7-game series, very physical, nostalgic, 90s, a lot of those old, wounds are still there, especially with Reggie calling the game.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, what?
Yeah.
You know what? No matter how evenly matched he is with everybody or how even keeled he is, every Knick fan's still going to go look at it like Reggie's guy. He's rooting for the Pacers. That's how we're going to look at it. It's like if you're an Eagle fan and you watch a game that Troy Aikman does, you're always going to feel like he's still rooting for the Cowboys, even though he's pretty even. Doesn't matter how even he is. I'm just not going to hear it. It's not going to compute to me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's just so much, like you said, Guy, there's so much history behind all of this, you know what I mean? And it's just a good time in New York right now. So the fans are hyped, and trust me, I follow a lot of Jets fans, and they're out there outside of the arena and hordes of people climbing up poles. And I'm like, the way that this would never happen in Arizona is crazy. But I mean, the guys are just going to need to show up. Brunson, you got to show up. You know what I mean? Halliburton, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of pressure on these two because I do think they carry the team and they set the tone for each of their teams as well. I think the spread today was about 4.5 in the Knicks' favor, of course. I ended up taking the spread for Pacers. There we go.
Yeah, I could see that. That would be a game that I would probably take if I'm picking at a 4.5 spread. I'm probably taking the Pacers. I might even take the overtime. I might even take the game going into overtime. Yes or no in overtime. I might even take overtime. These games are gonna be close.
Yeah, I think it's gonna go the distance too. In my opinion, Guy, you think it's gonna go 7 games as well?
I do. I think these two teams are evenly matched for different reasons. They're stylistically different. The Pacers play a fast up-tempo game. They have a lot of blue-collar guys, and they use more of their bench. The Knicks are more, starter-driven, dependent on their starters. So it's going to be interesting to see what style ends up winning out at the end of the series. But, they both are clutch players, to your point, Brunson and Halliburton. I think over the last 2 years or so, I think Halliburton's like 10 for 11 in like game winning or tying shots. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy has been money, and I know a lot of people saying that he's overrated, but you cannot be overrated if you led your team to the Eastern Conference Finals twice. And a lot of the things he does is intangibles. That team has Pascal Siakam, who's a very unheralded star, does a little bit of everything, and Miles Turner shoots threes, block shots. He's versatile as a big. So like these matchups are very interesting because Brunson, on the other hand, is very crafty, can get you a bucket at any time, and Cat, when he wants to dominate, can dominate. And it's those other guys that are going to push the series in the other's favor. So like Bridges, OG, Nemhard, Naismith, like what are these guys going to do? Like if they go off for like a 25-point game or do something that role players don't necessarily usually do, they'll win that game and or series.
I've said it the entire time. I just love how gritty the Knicks are. You know what I mean? They just find a way to win, and that's what winning organizations do. Gene knows the Jets don't know how to do that. They're like the only New York team who doesn't know how to do that, apparently.
Maybe not this year.
Don't sit here and tease me with the next year and the next year.
I got to be honest. I think we found our coach. And I'm not just being a homer and a yes man. I think we found our coach.
I'll believe it when I see it. I said that about Robert Saleh, too.
I did, too.
Guy, real quick, since you have all the Mets gear on, are they playing today?
Yeah.
Who are they playing?
They're playing the Red Sox.
Oh, that is right. Did the Red Sox win yesterday?
They won yesterday.
Yeah.
But we won today 5-1. So
I know. Well, I was pissed off yesterday at the Diamondbacks blew it in the 11th. I'm like, what are you doing against the Dodgers? Corbin Carroll gives you the lead.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite players. That is my guy on the Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll. I know Marte is a big name, but Corbin Carroll's my dude. Ever since he switched that swing, it's been so much better. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
I was in a time where people don't really hit for I feel like nobody this year is hitting for average and home run and power, and he's doing both. Obviously the average is lower than Judge's, but the home run totals are about the same. They're like, yeah, I mean, he's doing it this year. He could be an MVP candidate by the end of the year.
I know, and I'm just hoping that this stride keeps going because I've seen him get in a real bad slump over the summer, real bad for like a month and a half. We're playing the Dodgers again today. I'll be up. They kept me up late yesterday. I'm like, damn, you have to go extra innings. I'm texting my cousin. She literally sits right behind the dugout, right there. And she showed me when they got hit by a pitch, and I'm like, Diamondbacks are blowing it, and then she's like, "Winner, winner." I'm like, dude, I can't stand the Dodgers. They have great players. I will tell you that. I love Ohtani. I love Mookie Betts. He is one of my favorite players, but they're our rivals. You know what I mean? NL West. So
I hate all those guys.
All of the Dodgers.
I hate all the Dodgers,
especially for last World Series.
Yes. Not even then. You know what? My second team is the San Francisco Giants. That was my grandfather's team from when they played in New York back, years and years and years ago. So that was like my second team. And I've always hated the Dodgers. And I hate them even more now. I hate Mookie Betts because he was also a Red Sox at one point. Now he's a Dodger. I can't stand Ohtani because people try to say he's better than Judge, and he's not. You know what? When he hits the mound again, he starts pitching again, then maybe I could say that. But as of right now, he is not better than Judge.
No, not as a hitter.
And he's a great hitter. Judge is just. There's a stat that I saw today, and it was showing all the active players that have 300 or more home runs, and everybody had 300 and more that were active. Had it in like 7,000 at bats, 8,000 at bats, 9,000 at bats. You know what Judge's was? He has 330 home runs in 4,500 at bats. That's like Babe Ruth kind of numbers, man. Like we really got to we're watching history with this guy. But I'll tell you what, I do love Corbin Carroll. I've been trying to trade for Corbin Carroll for the last week in my fantasy league, and I can't get this guy to give him up, man. I'm willing to give up 2 starting pitchers. I'm trying to get Corbin. I'm trying to pry Corbin Carroll from actually one of the guys from the show Rookies of the Year that's on the channel. He has Corbin Carroll. He will not give him up. I'm trying to get Corbin Carroll from him. And he's not budging.
He'll give him up. Watch when he hits that slump, and then when you get him, he'll be on the backup. You know what I mean?
That's the hope. That's the hope, man.
I forgot if I mentioned this in the first episode, but I love Oracle Park where the Giants play. It is one of my favorite stadiums ever, right by the water, and the food is. I'll tell you right now, the food at other stadiums is better. You know what I mean? Like the Diamondbacks, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of sucks, but food everywhere else, I'm all about it. They had some good food there. Camden Yards, where the Orioles play, are really good.
Yes.
So just the environment is unmatched. Let's transition a little to football. We got OTAs. Guy, how you feeling about OTAs with the Dolphins?
I mean, it's going how it's going, nothing real major happening yet. I know we're waiting for the June 1st cuts.
Yep.
So I guess in a week or so, we'll have a better grasp on who's going to be cut, who's going to stay. But as of right now, from a Dolphins perspective, nothing exciting has happened, and we just want to be healthy.
Now let me ask you, because I'm just gonna get into my rant here after you answer this question. Do OTAs hype you up at all about the season?
Not really.
If you see a clip and you're like, ooh, that pass was great. Does that hype you up as to how the Dolphins are going to perform in the season?
No, because anybody could look great in practice or OTAs, but when the lights are on and the whistle blows and we're actually playing a game, that's when I want that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to do it when it counts.
Yeah.
OTAs, hey, everybody's taking it easy, going half speed. I mean, it's great. They're there. Yeah. That's what, you're there for chemistry reasons, not really for a highlight reel. But if your captains are there and they're setting a tone, like, look, we're taking this season serious. We're here. We're putting in the work. That I'm happy with. But other than that,
Gene, before I go off on the deep end as to how I feel about OTAs, do you get hyped when you see, the New York Jets social media page posting, a throw or all of these pictures of everyone suited up in pads? Like,
I find it to be like thirst traps.
Perfect.
It's them. I don't need to see Garrett Wilson make a beautiful one-handed catch in a t-shirt and shorts.
We've seen it in action.
Yeah, I don't need to see
poster of the
year. I don't need to see it. It kind of drives me crazy because I feel like you're trying to insult my intelligence when teams post it and they're like, oh, flash in the hands. Stop, because I could have made that catch on that. You know what I mean? Like, it's 7-on-7 drills in shorts and t-shirts. Stop it, please. Now, I will say this. I do enjoy when I see a player that's like an undrafted rookie free agent make a good play because I'm like, that'll hype me up for that guy, maybe as someone that could, do something into the season. But I don't need to see Justin Fields throwing a dime with nobody in his face wearing a red jersey. I don't need to see him. That stuff is like I said, I feel like you're insulting my intelligence. I'm a Jet fan. You don't have to sell me on your team. I'm there. I'm in. I've dealt with 15 years of losing, and I'm not going anywhere, Guy. Not Guy on the show. Guy meaning the Jet people.
Yeah.
So yeah, tone it down. I don't need the clickbait. I don't need the thirst traps. Just let me, show me what the new guys are doing that I don't know yet. Show me those guys.
Thank you. You guys both completely validated my feelings because I get the social media, you got to do your job. You know what I mean? And today I really did like seeing Will McDonald picked up 15 pounds. Breece Hall looks happy. Garrett Wilson is there, which is a good thing because you got to pay that man. I will say it a million thousand times. Pay him, hurry it up, seal the deal. That's a whole different story. And I did like seeing Braylon Allen. He's looked even bigger than last year. So I like seeing
he's jacked right now.
He's huge. He looks like a beast. But I do not care that Justin Fields threw a dime to Xavier Gibson.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's proven all of a sudden. And I've just been seeing that clip been posted around TikTok, Instagram, like he's all of a sudden the truth. No, he's not. He is not. Until I see that in a game, I will not believe it. And again, it was a great pass. No pressure, no nothing. Have you not seen how stacked half of these defensive lines are nowadays? He has nobody going after him. You're telling me if someone like Will McDonald was going after him, Jermaine Johnson was going after him, that would have happened? No. That's why he's running for his life. That's why he's scrambling half the time. And I think people use that video to try and prove me wrong about Justin Fields. And I'm like, I'm not changing my mind. I've accepted that he is our quarterback, but he's an unproven one at that. That little clip is not all of a sudden going to make me sip whatever fantasy juice that you guys are sipping right now. I'm not on it, okay? Leave me alone. I think people have been attacking me lately because it's like, I'm so negative, and I'm like, show me otherwise. I have nothing else to go off of. I like the energy that I'm seeing on the field, but I'm just not sold on Fields. So that's my little tidbit about that. Appreciate you guys letting me get that out. I've been wanting to say that literally all day. Staying on the football topic, we had breaking news about the tush push. Oh, look at that game. Oh, yeah.
Keeping our fans, our listeners updated.
It's just a +4.5. So I'm looking good so far. But earlier today, we got the news about the tush push. It is here to stay. The Eagles they posted a whole 30-minute video of just.
I saw you post about it.
That is hilarious.
It was great.
That is hysterical, and I was here for it. But I wanted to see how you guys are feeling. As far as I know, I got an image of it, like a screenshot. The Jets and the Dolphins were not in favor of banning it. So, Guy, what do you think about it? Like,
I mean, is it kind of like a cheesy play? Yeah. But at the end of the day, you got to stop it. So the only thing I'll say is that the success that the Eagles have had with it, Jalen Hurts might be the only quarterback that's capable of do that that many times.
I agree.
With, his squats regimen and everything else that he does. Like, he has the physical capabilities to do that. When other teams start doing that, now you open up the can of worms of injuries, player safety, not just for the quarterback, but the O-line, D-line, because now defensive line is going to try to cheat and try to get their advantage and go over the top or underneath. And it could cause injury. I mean, I know the NFL has been changing a lot of rules to, benefit the health and well-being of players. But is it an unfair advantage? Maybe. But they have the personnel to make it successful that many times. So until one of our teams figures out a way to stop it consistently, I think it's here to stay.
I agree. Gene?
Am I a fan of the play? I could care less about the play. Do I think it should be taken out? No way. It's a football play. If you want to take it out of playbooks, then stop it, and teams will stop doing it. Like the Wildcat. When was it? The Dolphins pulled out the Wildcat years and years ago, and what happened is other teams started doing it a little bit, and then when people started being able to figure it out and stop it, and then it kind of went away. The tush push will eventually go away, but here's one thing here's why the Jets didn't get rid of it. There's probably a couple of reasons, but this is definitely one of them. I don't know if you already know the stat, Abs. Justin Fields throughout the course.
I did see this.
He was 11 of 12 succession rate, or he's 11 of 12 in successful attempts of doing the tush push. So trust me when I tell you this, the Jets are going to be tushing the push this year.
Oh, I agree. When I saw that, I was like, oh, I already know they're drawing up some plays with them doing that. You know what I mean?
Yep. So I think we're going to do it, man. So and that's my thing is listen, it's not a beautiful play by any stretch of the imagination. It's not. But my thing is, listen, if you want it to go away, then stop it, and teams will stop doing it.
At the end of the day, it's a fair play. You know what I mean? And if anything, like you're talking about injuries, I think there's 100 more other plays that you risk injuries on. You know what I mean? Just throwing the ball in the air, and anytime a receiver comes down, it's like hurt. He could potentially get hurt each and every single time. And I just think it's funny because if I'm correct, they only needed 2 more votes for it to be banned. And I was looking at the list, and like I said, and I was reading a stat earlier, the only team that voted to keep the tush push that plays the Eagles this year is the Lions. So they are not scared of that shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I just like you said, you both said, learn to stop it. You know what I mean? Someone's going to figure it out. You know what I mean? And I think it's like I said, the Jets are on here, Eagles. Is the whole AFC East looks like they're on here. Hold on. I might nope the Bills.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't think the Bills were, but you know what? I'm surprised though. Buffalo, they got a big quarterback. I'm surprised that they're not into it. Why
aren't they trying it a little more? You know what I mean?
You
got the Saints on here. You got some of the worst franchises in favor of keeping it because we just don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Because it's just they learn to stop it. You know what I mean? And I fully don't think again, Guy, you said it perfectly. I'm surprised the Eagles have had so much success with it. You know what I mean? But I don't think that's the sole reason they're winning football games is because of this one effing play. You know what I mean? You already know going into the game what they're going to do when they get that close and are about to score. Like, figure it out. You know what I mean? You have weeks in advance to prep. So, but it was the one I commented on this video. I was like, it was the one Jets W that I have seen. I actually agree with. So, but yeah, OTAs, I'm glad they're back. I get a little excited for OTAs because it means that football is inching closer and closer.
Mm-hmm.
And that means as time goes on, more news is going to come out. Again, that guy you threw out that June 1st deadline, excited for that. So I already did my rant. Gene, I'm going to let you go first. Hopefully you came prepared.
I you know what? Let Guy go first because I am a short.
Okay.
I am a short notice thing. I got to think
Well,
about.
Guy wants to go. He had to get some water to rehydrate and
I
get
gotta-
his vocal cords ready.
I got to think about what I want to rant about.
All right, Guy, go ahead.
All right. So my rant is actually about New York fans.
You're about to piss people off already. Go ahead.
The whole
Good.
tri-state area. Come on, man.
Yup.
Yes. And it's on one hand, we have some of the best fans in the country, very loyal fans. They're very intense, knowledgeable, and they love their sports here. That's 100%. However, over the last week or so, I've been seeing us become kind of like Philadelphia in a way, where New York has always been petty, but now we're going to a depth of like, man, like can we handle success here? You know, can we actually not try to be tough for, you know, to the other fans? So like my example is what the Knicks fans did to the firefighter that's a Pacers fan throwing garbage at him, right? I think that's crossing the line, and I think New York fans should be held accountable. Like, look, we got to do better. We are a great fan base, but as somebody that's in this tri-state area, I'm calling us to do better. You know, that's Knicks fans, Yankee fans, Mets fans, Jets, Giants. Everybody's got to do better. Because look, Philly is got the title as the worst fans. We don't want to get to that point. You know, we're tough. We're hard on our players as we should be. But at the same time, don't be insecure because somebody else is wearing a different jersey. You could talk your shit, but there's a line that you can't cross. And you know, that's my rant.
Damn, I thought you were. I would thought Miami was the worst fan base, but okay, I'm just playing with you.
Well, half of them are from up here anyway.
That's a good point.
It doesn't help right now that I just saw that the Yankees walked it off. So I'm like,
you know what? I don't even have the Yankees on right now because I got the Knicks Pacers,
missed
which, by the
it.
way,
I literally
99-92 with 8 minutes left.
yeah, it looks like Dominguez homered 413 feet, and I mean the fans. I saw them just in your face already. You know what I mean?
Can I tell you something? I'm going to rant about that because I had Jason Dominguez on my fantasy team and I didn't play him tonight.
Of course, that's how it always works out.
All right. Actually, I am going to rant. It's going to be about baseball. And my rant is this. We talked a little bit about it before the show. And you know what? I do want to say this. Speaking of New York sports fans, we are some of the most and there's Joey D, my man. He's from Miami, so he knows it does suck. And
he agrees with the New Yorkers.
Joey D lives in Miami, but he doesn't. I don't think he roots for a Miami team. He's a Boston Celtic fan, Boston Red Sox fan, and a San Francisco 49er fan. But because you made fun of New Yorkers, Joey, I'm going to tell you this: you overpaid for your quarterback. There, but that's not my rant.
Let me tell you something real quick too.
Go ahead.
Like I'm a Jets fan, obviously. I'm from Arizona. I hate when people think like, "Are you from New York?" I want to be so dissociated with that.
That hurts my feelings to the core.
Like, no, I am not, and I am proud not to be there either. You know what I mean? And it's just because I'm proud. I'm just a Southwest girly. We are a totally different vibe than the East Coast. You know what I mean? So I'm like, don't you ever get it confused because again, in my comments, sometimes people are like, typical New Yorker. I'm like, funny because I'm not even born and raised from there, but I'm whatever. I get you can say whatever you want about the Jets. You know what I mean? But don't ever get me confused with being a New Yorker. I would correct you every single time. I cannot stand it because I just don't relate like that. You know what I mean? I'm not in your face. I'm very respectable. I go to a lot of away games in a Jets jersey. I mind my business. I'm shocked I even wear a jersey half the time. I put a little hat on and I'm like in my little corner eating my popcorn. You know what I mean? All right, Gene, sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No,
Go
it's
on.
good. I get it. Like, I get. I'm gonna be going to a Jet away game this year. I have tickets to the Bucs, and that our opening game this year is against the Jets. So I will be at that game, and I'll be rooting for the Jets. But then after that, I'll be rooting for the Bucs and everything at the game.
Wait, I don't think I told you. I think I'm going to the Jets Cowboys game at MetLife.
Are you really?
Yeah, so I'm actually like really excited. I haven't been to
Nice.
MetLife. I've only been to one MetLife game. That's the crazy thing. They won,
Wow.
shockingly. And it was, I think, like, man, it had to have been like 2017. That's how long it's been. So super hyped.
Last one I was at was last year's. I think it was Halloween night. Was the Halloween night game? We played on Halloween night, right? Against the Texans. That was the last game I've been.
And we
was
won.
against the Texans.
We
Yep.
hadn't won in like 5
That was
weeks.
when what's called it had like 2 crazy catches. Garrett Wilson threw crazy catches.
That was the Wilson catch that I brought up earlier.
That looked like the Jordan, the Jordan logo.
I can't deny that was like a poster catch. Be for real.
No, it was. Hey, that
Catch
was
of
a
the
great
year.
catch. I can't take anything away from him.
Right.
Real quick before I get to my rant, it is 106.92 with exactly 8 minutes left. Go Knicks. All right, so my rant is this, and it's sticking up for New York fans against when we love our teams, man. We love our teams. Like, I mean, you can see what's going on with the Knicks, especially when we've been starved for a little bit, right? We've been a starved franchise. You see how we react, and we're a smart fan base with all our sports, right? We've had sports in New York since sports started. All the way back to when teams were in other cities and other parts of the country, where they started here and they moved out, and we always have teams here. We're one of the cities that can have 2 teams per sport. So we're a smart, savvy fan. Now, when you are a guy that comes to a team that's been starving for an identity, for wins and for championships, and you've been known as the little brother, sorry guy, of the town, you come here and you get the biggest contract in North American sports history, Juan Soto. You get the biggest contract in North American sports history. You get access to, besides that, you get access to a suite. You get access to private planes that your owner lets you take. You have all these perks. And then you can't even run out of the box. We loaf it. And that's bad enough. We see that as New Yorkers. We just want to see guys like you. You remember that back in the day when Derek Jeter would just get a walk, and what would he do? He'd run to first base like he was trying to beat out the second baseman. It was a walk. He had the base already. He would run to first base still. We need to see that kind of effort when you come to a team that has had the history that it's had, and it needs that messiah. More than any team in New York's probably ever needed. And you're getting paid an exorbitant amount of money, crazy amount of money, like unfathomable kind of money. And then you dog it, and then you double down, and when you are approached on it, and they say to you, hey, not running out of the box, and you say, well, I'm hustling. What are you talking about? I'm hustling, bro. And Guy knows exactly what I'm saying, because he knows it. And I'm not trying to dog his team, but how does it feel when you give your hard-earned money to a franchise that takes that hard-earned money and gives the biggest contract ever to a guy that's supposed to be the face of your team, the messiah of your organization and franchise, and he lies to your face saying, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm hustling. Does this sting a little bit?
Well, he hasn't been to be fair, he hasn't.
I'm not even talking about
that.
that he's not been Juan Soto yet. I'm not even talking about the fact that he's still only batting 240 something and he hasn't been Juan Soto yet. I'm not talking about the fact that they got him for a bunch of different reasons. One was to beat the big bad Yankees, and he went 1 for 10 with like 3 or 4 strikeouts. I'm not even bringing that up. I'm bringing up against a team like the Red Sox, where he like kind of stumbles out of first base, not even trying to beat out the throw. When, listen, even if you're not going to beat it, you try, right? You at least say, hey, I'm making all this money. These people came to see me. I'm not playing well. Let me at least show that the effort is there. And then when you don't get it, let me at least see you go like Paul O'Neill. What did Paul O'Neill do when he would like ground out or strike out? He would take the bat and destroy the Gatorade thing, the cooler. I need to see some fire out of you, Guy. Not you, Guy. I mean, you, Guy, Juan Soto. It's tough to do a show with Guy because I call him Guy. Do not insult our intelligence as sports fans. Do not tell me you hustled when you clearly didn't hustle, when you're getting paid what you're getting paid, when you're getting all the perks that you're getting. You make more in one at bat than some people make in a year, I think. I got to do the math, but I'm sure it's got to be up there.
Yeah.
Please.
More than I make in an hour.
At least that. Do me a favor, my friend. Juan Soto. You wanted to go to the Mets. There's rumors that you wanted to be a Yankee the whole time, but you went to the Mets anyway. Stop crying. You're a Met. You signed that contract. You owe your organization to play hard every single minute you're on the field. If not, then take yourself out. Let somebody pinch hit for you. Take yourself out. You're not feeling it today? Take yourself out. But every minute you're on that field, I don't want to hear about an injury. I don't want to hear about, I thought it was, he missed a double because he thought it was going out for a home run. And what did he end up with? A single.
Yep.
That doesn't happen to star players, to faces of franchises. Those are the people those are the athletes that don't let that happen. Those are the athletes that say, you know what, not only I'm going to take 2, try and stop me from taking 3. He only got to 1. So Juan Soto, get your shit together. I'd love to be able to root for you even as a Met, just because I'd like to see the Mets finally, get us back to a Subway Series. But you're making it hard, man. And it makes me say, thank God you're not on my team anymore. Guy, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bash on your team.
I'm waiting for Guy's rebuttal, because how do you rebuttal that?
It's okay. I mean, I definitely agree with a lot of what Gene said. I mean, with that contract comes a lot of responsibility. To be fair, he's never been the man on any of the teams that he's played on, whether it was the Nationals, the Padres, or the Yankees. He's always been kind of like in the background, just playing baseball. But now New York exposes everything. All those flaws and insecurities come to the surface. So it'll either make you or break you. That's why they say if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, because it's really the hardest market. The fans are hard on you. The media is always going in your face, grilling you after games, asking you these questions. He's been asked about the Yankees every series, like, oh, do you miss it? Does that, how does it feel not having Judge bat behind you? Like, I think a lot of his struggles are because he's pressing and he's in his head. He hasn't just taken a step back to relax and just let the game come to him and do what you've been doing, for most of your life. Play the game, play happy, be happy that you're able to provide for your family, that you're making the biggest contract in North American sports history. Like, dude, you're set for generations. So 2 things that you could control every game is your attitude and your effort. So if you come to the park every day and do that, you're going to set a tone. Obviously, he's not the leader of the team. That's more Francisco Lindor. But by default, you having that big contract makes you a leader and a face of the league. So it looks bad on the sport also as a whole when you're not running out ground balls, when you're dogging it around the bases, when you should have had a double or a triple and you're just getting a single. That's inexcusable, and they have to hold them accountable. All that money or no money. Like, we're teaching our kids in the little leagues to hustle all the time and come to the park with a good attitude. Soto has to do the same thing.
Well, I'm
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I literally have no stake in the matter, but I was like, it's not even like he was pissed and then started running. It's just like he looked and then started running. I'm like, what are you doing? Just run it out anyways. We already know it's probably going to be an out. You know what I mean? But I just feel like I don't know what he really expected to when he signed with the Mets. Like,
you had to have known that this was going to happen, that the fans were going to treat you this way, especially with the huge rivalry there. And it's like, you're right. I do think he's too much in his head. I don't know if he thought it wasn't going to be this bad, but you already made the decision. Lay in it. You know what I mean? Just accept it. I don't know who's in charge of his PR team, but even from a PR perspective, shut up. Just stop talking. Minimal anything about it. You know what I mean? Like, I say the same thing about in terms of the Jets, and in terms of like even Aaron Glenn. It's like, you talked about it. New York will either make you or break you type of thing. And it's like, you have to be able to handle the culture here. And it takes a certain type of personality. I talked about it with the Jets. Aaron Glenn, I think can handle it. And one person who I always ragged on in terms of the Jets that couldn't handle it was Zach Wilson. He was not mentally ready for that. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what we're seeing now with Juan Soto. I don't think you were mentally ready for this. Was a huge decision, and it came with all these repercussions, which you knew in advance. You know what I mean?
You know what though, Abby? There's a big difference between Juan Soto and Zach Wilson, though.
Well,
Juan Soto's been in the league for like the last 7-8 years. He's been,
right.
He should know better. Zach Wilson's a kid that came out of college. That same thing with Geno Smith. If you remember correctly, Geno Smith, when he was a Jet, and God bless him because he's really turned his career around. But when he was a Jet, he was also very immature. Like, remember, getting into fights with teammates in the locker room, borrowing money and not paying it back, getting punched in the nose. He had some growing up to do, and he I don't remember the guy's last name, but I remember his first name was Ike.
Yeah. His last name I think starts with an O. It's a really long.
Yeah, it was like Ozo Dubli. It was like one of the, it was like an African name, but his first name was Ike, and he broke his jaw and had him talking like Kanye for a little bit, and then but he needed to grow up. And guess what? To his credit, he did. Zach Wilson, hopefully he will. But there's a difference between those guys and Juan Soto. Juan Soto's been in the league long enough to know, you know what I mean? Like, you got to act a certain way, man up, and just, take your lumps and say, you know what, you're right. You know how much credit he would have gotten and said, you know what, I've just been really down on myself, but you know what, you're right, and I need to do better, and I will do better. I am the face. I want to be the face of this franchise. I want your kids to look up to me because of what I can do on this ball field and what I can do off this ball field. You're right. I need to be better, and I will be better. Can you imagine what the papers would have said had he said that? They would. He would have been as popular as Jalen Brunson in New York right now if he could have came out with something like that. People would go to the field, go to Citi Field, and they would cheer for him even if he struck out, just hoping to get the spark going again. Who did they do that for?
Lindor.
No, it was somebody else. It wasn't for the New York. It was for another baseball team.
No, last year they did it for Francisco Lindor because he always starts off the year slow.
And they just started cheering for him and just helped us bring out of it.
They gave him a standing ovation. He changed his song to "My Girl," and like that changed his whole. Okay. I guess now he plays happy. Like, there's something to be said about feeling good while you're at the ballpark, because if you have things on your mind, it's already tough as hell to hit a major league pitch, successfully. Now, when you're thinking about all the other external things, the money, the fans, the this, the that, he's feeling a lot of pressure, and it's hard to be successful when you're thinking about all that. That's why I said he has to stop thinking about that and just play the game, and to your point, Gene, we hold players accountable here, right? And we want guys to be honest with us. Don't insult our intelligence, like you said. Look, if he kept it real and said, look, yeah, you know what? I should have hustled. I'm sorry. If he owned it, we would have, like you said, next home game, we're giving him a standing ovation saying, look, we forgive you. Now go and produce. Let's go.
Yeah. He would have gotten behind him. And that's the difference too. Like, I'm not trying to knock other cities. There's a lot of other cities that have fan bases that might be a little bit more naive to the point where they're like, you know what? They don't get into it, right? And some of the press wouldn't even. I'm sure there's other cities that the press wouldn't even ask them on it. But there's some fan bases that would say, yeah, he must have been hustling. Maybe he, they'd make excuses but no, in New York it's a little different, man. It really is. I'm not trying to say that because I'm from New York. It just is, man.
No, and I agree with you. And I'm from Arizona. I think the treatment between how the media is with the Yankees and the Mets is not the same as how the media is with the Diamondbacks over here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Exactly.
like,
No, yeah.
So I'm
And,
totally on board with that.
how many
It's
beat
the-
reporters do they have for like the Diamondbacks versus the Mets and
Right.
Yankees?
yeah.
Mhm.
So just think about it like that. Like you're having a room full of people in your face. Like you might have a handful in Arizona or Middle America, what have you. But here we have all these different media outlets. We have, you know, the startups and the ones that's been here for generations, and that right there is pressure. Like that, being able to interview correctly is something that you must do in New York. Like Derek Jeter was excellent at that. Even Eli Manning to a certain degree was good at that too. But
Yeah.
other people, like I remember Bobby Bonilla threatening to beat up a reporter one time, and his New York career just went out the door like that. So it's like it could make you or break you, like seriously. But it's because the importance that we put on sports here, like for better or for worse, right?
100%.
It's just how it is.
Well, and
up here.
those reporters and beat writers, they all know each other too. So they'll tag team off each other. And if you didn't answer the question right, well, I'm going to ask it a different way, and I'm going to ask you a different way. And your answer better be the same for all three ways that they asked it. It's essentially the same question. They're going to get the answer whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it makes it worse. And that's why there's that thing of can he handle New York? Can he? And you see some players, great players, come here and they're horrible and they leave, and sometimes they get it back and they're great again. Look at Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray, he was on the A's, the Athletics. He was fantastic. He comes here, he's a shell of what he was, thinking, all right, maybe he just wasn't that good. They trade him away, and now he's a top frontline pitcher again. It's just how it is, man. There's some guys just can't, like they say, some guys can't handle Vegas. Some athletes can't handle New York.
I agree.
116-105 with 3 minutes left. And Jalen Brunson goes for three, and he bangs it in. It's
My parlay,
119-105.
parlay
I'm sorry about your parlay,
cut
kid. I really am.
Parlay cut.
But if they make it close now, I'll have a heart attack before the end of the show. Wow. Oh, was that Halliburton? Someone just took a deep three for Indiana. Yeah, Halliburton took a deep three.
How many points does he have? And I thought, because I know Brunson was already at like 28.
Brunson's got to be at like around 30 something.
Yeah, because he's at 35.
He's got to at least be plus 20.
Halliburton's at 27. They both been going off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though. He's going for another step back three. Didn't get it. And Indiana has the rebound. I'll tell you what. There was that time over this summer where they were both on WWE, and it looked like Jalen Brunson was going to hit him with the steel chair.
Yes.
I kind of wish he did.
You have people say that was part of the script, bro.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and here they are in the conference. Yeah, and here they are in the Eastern Conference Finals. Do you know what I mean? All we need is for Jalen Brunson to headbutt him like Starks did to Reggie Miller all those years ago.
Oh,
Remember Reggie Miller when he got headbutted? He goes, like it was like in slow motion. He goes, it's like, come on, Reggie. Now Cat going for three. And come on, why are they going for three? They need to just close this game out. I don't understand taking a barrage of 3-pointers with like 2 minutes left. Just let the clock run, take your 2-point shots, drive the lane, maybe get a foul, and let the clock tick. And Burton's all over the court right now. But anyway, so I'm sorry, I didn't need to do play-by-play.
No, it's fine. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna give you back your whole 1 minute that you have to watch the game in peace. Before we wrap up, another good episode with you guys. Always enjoy talking to you guys. Any last little tidbits? Guy, any last little final words you want to say?
I'm just
as well.
Yeah, no, I'm just excited to see how this series plays out. I know the Knicks are probably going to win this first game, but it's going to be back and forth, and I'm going to enjoy the ride.
Gene?
I'm going to be nervous all series long, even if it goes only 4 games. Again, I think the Knicks will win it, but Pacers in 6. And I do want to say this thing. Guys, we're a new channel, obviously, a new network. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter,
Instagram.
Twitch, Instagram. We're all over the place. So just try to sign up for all the socials if you can. We killed it over on on Twitter tonight. We had a couple thousand people watching at one point, so it must have hit an algorithm.
Oh,
Yeah, so,
yay.
in fact,
Look
yo,
at
hold on.
us. Look
Right,
at us.
X.
Insert that
Hold on.
meme.
Let me see if I can you see? I don't know if it's gonna.
Scoot it. There we go.
It's
Let me
kind of as a glare.
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys will see.
Yeah.
At that point, it was like at 6,500 views.
Ooh,
So
that's good.
so guys, if you are on another platform, try to come over to YouTube as well so you can join the chat with us. And we're trying to build up the YouTube first, along with everything else. So we're happy that you're watching there. If you are over there on Twitter, please subscribe and follow on Twitter. Don't just like view it and then move on with your life. Hit that follow so you can subscribe, or whatever it is on Twitter. I think it's follow on Twitter. Hit that follow button so we can come up in your feed all the time. You don't just see us. We're not a one and done for you guys. And if you tune in, thank you for tuning in, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, like and subscribe, and I'll be watching the Diamondbacks Dodgers game right now. So I'm checked out of the Knicks game. I'm like, bye.
It's actually getting close. It's actually it's now a 5-point game with 34 seconds left.
I
Your
know.
parlay is back in play.
4.5.
Your parlay is back in play.
Oh, I love that. I love to see it. But always great talking with you. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.